Have you ever sat on your bed late at night, staring at your phone, asking yourself, why do I love him so much when he barely notices me? You give and you give your heart, your time, your energy, only to feel emptier with every passing day. You text first, you plan everything, you bend until you're breaking, and yet he still pulls away, leaving you with that ache in your chest, whispering, why? Am I never enough? I know that feeling. That crushing silence when he doesn't call back, that hollow pit in your stomach when you try to love him harder, hoping he'll finally wake up and see what's right in front of him. But the more love you pour into him, the more invisible you seem to become. And here's the part that hurts the most. You're not crazy for wanting his love. You're not weak for craving his attention. You're human. You just want to feel chosen. You want to feel like the love you're giving is being matched, not ignored. But here's the twist most women never realize. Sometimes the problem isn't that you love him too little. It's that you're loving him so much that you're teaching him he doesn't have to love you back the same way. And this is why ignoring him, stepping back, pulling your energy away, can shift everything in ways you never imagined. Because ignoring him isn't about being cruel. It isn't about games. It's about reclaiming your power, your peace, and your worth. It's about showing him, without saying a word, that your love is valuable and it's not free for someone who won't treasure it. So if you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, why does he act like he doesn't care, or why do I feel lonelier loving him than I ever did alone, this video is for you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes you'll see exactly why ignoring him works better than smothering him with love, and how choosing silence can speak louder than all the words and attention you've been pouring into him. It's 11:47 p.m., you're lying in bed, the room lit only by the soft glow of your phone screen. The silence feels heavy, pressing down on you, broken only by the sound of your own heartbeat. You've been staring at your messages for the last half hour, scrolling up and down the thread, rereading the last text you sent him. Hey, how was your day? Simple, sweet, thoughtful, and yet hours later, still no reply. You keep refreshing, as if somehow your persistence will make his name pop up on your screen. But it doesn't. Instead, you notice that he was active online not too long ago. He's seen your message. He just didn't answer. Your stomach twists. You tell yourself he's busy, tired, distracted, but deep down, that whisper in your chest grows louder. If he wanted to, he would. The worst part isn't the silence. It's the way you feel yourself shrinking, minute by minute, just waiting on his attention. You remember the early days, the late night conversations that stretched until sunrise, the way his words made you feel like the most beautiful woman in the world. Back then, he couldn't get enough of you. Back then, you never had to chase. But now you feel like you're standing in the middle of the road, waving your arms, begging for him to notice, and he just keeps driving past. So what do? You send another text. Just a little one, something playful, hoping to break through the wall. You wait. You stare at the typing bubble that appears for a second and then vanishes. Your heart leaps, only to crash when nothing follows. You roll over in bed, hugging your pillow tighter, wondering, why am I the only one trying? Why do I keep loving him harder, only to feel him pull away more? And as you lie there staring at the ceiling, another thought slips in, the one you don't want to admit. What if the more I chase, the more I'm teaching him that I'll always be here, no matter how little he gives back? Hits you like a wave. What if your love, instead of making him stay, is actually making him forget your value? What if the very thing you think will bring him closer is the exact thing pushing him farther away? But here's where it gets interesting, because the answer isn't what you think. So let me ask you, if loving him more isn't working, then what will? Could pulling back, going quiet, and focusing on yourself be the thing that makes him finally wake up and realize what he's losing? Stay with me, because in just a moment I'll explain why ignoring him doesn't just protect your heart. It might be the only thing that makes him see your worth. Let's be real, sis. Sometimes it feels like the more love you pour into him, the less he seems to notice. You're giving him all your heart, showing up every time, making him feel special. Yet instead of pulling him closer, it feels like he's slipping further away. And I know that hurts, because deep down, you're not asking for much. You just want to feel chosen, valued, and loved in return. Here's the hidden truth. Men don't respond to being overgiven to. When you're constantly calling, texting, checking in, bending over backwards just to prove your love, you may think you're showing loyalty, but what you're really showing is that you'll settle for crumbs. And the problem with that? People, not just men, tend to value what they earn and take for granted what's freely handed over. It's not that you should play games or become cold and heartless. No, it's about balance. When you chase him with endless love, while he barely lifts a finger, the scale tips, and suddenly he feels no urgency to meet you halfway. Why? Because he already knows you'll be there no matter what. Your presence becomes his comfort zone. And when something or someone feels guaranteed, people stop appreciating it. People stop appreciating it. But when you pull back, when you stop pouring your energy into someone who's not matching you, something powerful happens. He feels the silence. He notices the shift. He wonders, wait, why isn't she chasing me anymore? And that's when the dynamic changes. Because now he realizes your attention wasn't free. It was a gift. Ignoring him isn't about being mean or manipulative. It's about reminding yourself that you don't have to fight for someone who doesn't see your worth. It's about redirecting all that love and effort you've been giving away back into yourself. Do the things you've been neglecting. Spend time with people who pour into you. Reconnect with hobbies, passions, and dreams that make you glow. Here's the takeaway I want you to hold on to today. Your silence can speak louder than your words, and your absence can teach him more than your constant presence ever will. The moment you stop proving your value to him is the moment he starts realizing he could actually lose you. And if he doesn't notice, doesn't care, doesn't step up, then sis, that's your answer. That's your proof that he never deserved the love you were giving in the first place. So instead of drowning him in more love, try pulling back just enough to remind both him and yourself that your worth doesn't depend on his attention. Because the right man, he won't need to be reminded. He'll never risk forgetting what he has in you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how when you show up for him constantly, when you text first, when you're always available, when you're basically carrying the relationship on your back, he seems to pull away? But then on those rare moments when you stop trying, when you're busy, when you don't answer right away, suddenly he pops up. Strange, isn't it? And yet, it's one of the biggest patterns women see, but often ignore. You love him, so your instinct is to give more, to love harder, to show him I'm here for you no matter what. But here's what most women don't realize. The more you chase, the less he values. The more you give, the less he invests. Now, before I explain why ignoring him works better, think about this. Imagine you're holding onto a balloon. At first it's exciting, you play with it, you watch it float, it's fun. But the longer you have it, the less special it feels. Eventually you stop paying attention. It just becomes another thing in your hand. But what happens if someone comes along and tries to take that balloon away? Suddenly you remember how badly you want it. You hold on tighter. That's how many men treat a woman's love. When it's there 24/7, when it costs them nothing, when they don't have to work for it. they forget its value. But when that love becomes uncertain, when your energy isn't automatically poured into him, he starts to notice, he starts to chase. But let me pause here, because I don't want you to think ignoring him means you should play cold, manipulated games. That's not what I'm saying. Ignoring him works, not because you're punishing him, but because it shifts the focus. It forces him to face the silence, and at the same time, it gives you space to reconnect with yourself. Think about this. How many times have you lost sleep wondering if he'll call? How many times have you rearranged your plans just in case he wanted to see you? How many times have you held back your feelings, your needs, your boundaries, just so you wouldn't scare him off? And yet, despite all that effort, has he really given you more, or has he given you less? See, here's the part most women don't want to admit, but deep down, you know it's true. When you overlove someone who isn't showing up for you, you don't inspire them to step up. You train them to believe they can give you the bare minimum and you'll still stay. But here's where it gets interesting. Because ignoring him flips the script. It makes him feel the gap. It makes him wonder where your attention went. And whether he admits it or not, it stirs something inside him. That quiet voice that says, wait, what if she's slipping away? What if she's no longer mine? Now, I know what you're thinking, but if I ignore him, won't he just move on? Won't I lose him completely? And that's exactly the fear that keeps so many women stuck in the cycle of overgiving. You're afraid that if you don't chase him, he'll forget you. But here's the truth you need to hold on to. Ignoring him doesn't make you lose the right man. It only reveals whether or not he was ever the right man in the first place. And in just a minute, I'm going to tell you exactly why pulling back, not chasing, works better than loving him too much. But before I do, I want you to really sit with this question. If giving him everything hasn't worked so far, why are you so afraid to try giving him less? Because here's the reality. Your power isn't in how much you love him. It's in how much you value yourself. And when you stop making him your world, that's when he starts realizing your worth. So stay with me, because in a moment, I'll reveal the hidden reason why silence, space, and focusing on yourself often break through his ego in a way love alone never can. So here's what I want you to remember, sis. You don't need to love harder, give more, or sacrifice your heart just to keep someone who doesn't see your value. The truth is, the right man, the one who truly deserves you, will never make you question whether you're enough. He won't need to be chased. He won't leave you lying awake at night wondering why you're the only one trying. Ignoring him works better than loving him too much, not because it's about punishment, but because it shifts the energy back to where it belongs, to you. It's a declaration that says, I refuse to pour myself into someone who can't even meet me halfway. It's a quiet, powerful way of saying my heart isn't free for someone who doesn't know how to hold it. I know it hurts. I know the loneliness feels heavy, and every part of you wants to reach for your phone, send that text, or prove your love one more time. But pause for a second and ask yourself, hasn't giving more already drained you? Hasn't loving him too much already left you feeling empty? Hasn't chasing him already left you feeling unseen? Your worth is not measured by how much you can love a man who doesn't love you the same way. Your worth has been there all along, in your kindness, in your loyalty, in the way your heart beats so deeply for the people you care about. That is rare, that is precious, and the man who deserves it will treat it like gold. So when you choose to ignore him, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with grace. You're not just creating distance. You're sending a message to your own soul. I matter too. My energy, my time, my love, they are valuable, and I won't waste them anymore. And here's the beautiful part. Two things will happen. Either he will wake up, feel that shift, and realize what he's about to lose, or he won't. And if he doesn't, that's not rejection. That's protection. That's the universe gently removing someone who was never meant to carry the weight of your love in the first place. Ignoring him works because it creates clarity. It separates the man who is comfortable taking you for granted from the man who is terrified of losing you. And whichever truth it reveals, you win because you're no longer begging, no longer chasing, no longer losing yourself in someone else's hands. The strongest love story you will ever live is not the one where you finally get him to care. It's the one where you finally remember who you are without needing his validation, his text, or his presence. And when you step into that kind of power, something shifts. You stop attracting men who treat you like an option, and you start attracting the men who will see you as the prize you've always been. So let this be your reminder. You don't have to love him harder to win his heart. You only have to love yourself enough to walk away from what doesn't serve you. Because the right man will never need to be chased, and the wrong man will never stay, no matter how hard you run. And before we close, let me leave you with this. If ignoring him feels scary, that's okay. Growth always does. But trust me, the day you stop giving everything to the wrong one, you create space for the right one to finally arrive. Stay strong, Queen. Your silence, your strength, your self-love, that's where your power is. And when you embrace that, not only will he feel it, but so will you. And in my next video, I'll show you exactly how to rebuild your confidence after you've pulled back. So you're not just ignoring him, but full glowing without him.